Yo, what's going on guys, XpertFusion here, and today we're going to be doing a discussion about time to kill within Call of Duty, specifically going over why I believe slower time to kill is always going to be better than a faster time to kill within Call of Duty. The reason why I want to do this now is because there's been a lot of discussion recently about time to kill within Call of Duty, mainly because of the fact that we're at that point in Cold War's life cycle where people start talking about the previous games. They start kind of getting bored of the current COD, so they go back to the old ones and, go back and try to enjoy them. And Modern Warfare recently actually got some new content. They added Kill House to its multiplayer map rotation. So I played some Modern Warfare, played a little bit here and there, and I went to Twitter to kind of say that I think the biggest issue with Modern Warfare was the time to kill. The fact that the time to kill was so incredibly fast, and there was a lot of discussions mainly on some of my Twitter threads about this, and a lot of people who think faster time to kill is way better, more enjoyable, and I'm completely fine with everyone having their own opinions. That's all well and good, but when it comes to the differences between a slower and a faster time to kill within Call of Duty, I think we can objectively look at what it means for the gameplay. What will a faster time to kill do to the game, and what will a slower time to kill do to the game? And there's a lot of arguments specifically about that, people saying that faster time to kill is better because it does this, or slower time to kill is better because it does this, and a lot of arguments there, and I kind of want to throw out my points here and explain the reasons why I think slower time to kill CODs are always going to make for much more enjoyable gameplay flow as a whole. For some specific reasons. There's objective reasoning there, but as a whole, of course, my preference of it being slower time to kill is still an opinion. That's subjective, so keep that in mind. I want to start this off with actually going over what the time to kills are in most of the Call of Duty titles, because a lot of people don't really exactly know this. These statistics are all coming from Exclusive Ace. Definitely go check out his channel. He's one of the best COD YouTubers for going into specific stats in detail from Call of Duty. The only COD that's missing from this list is World War II. I have two different lists here. I guess I couldn't find that, but there's a lot of interesting information here, and I want to kind of clear up some things. So it shows for this one list here the minimum time to kill and the average max time to kill. So these are both averages and they're the minimum max. So you kind of have to look in between. You can't just look at one or the other and be like, okay, this means this COD is a higher time to kill than this one. No, you want to actually specifically look at each one. The higher the number, the slower the time to kill is. That means that's how long it's going to actually take to kill them in milliseconds. So on average, again, this is averaging all the weapons out in the game. I believe he averages the ARs, SMGs, and LMGs. I'm not too sure how he handles that with snipers and such, because those are completely different types of weapons. But when it comes to, like, I believe full auto weapons, he's kind of listing them out here. And as you can tell by this little list, the slowest time to kills are obviously Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare on this specific list. But then if you go over to the other list, which shows BO4, Modern Warfare, and Cold War and BO4 clearly have the actual slowest time to kills in Call of Duty history, which obviously I think we all kind of know that. In terms of the fastest time to kills, meaning the ones that you die quickest in, is Ghosts, Modern Warfare 3, as well as, surprisingly, Black Ops 1. And this is something that I need to clear up, because a lot of people don't understand this and they kind of get confused because they're like, wait, I remember Black Ops 1 having a slow time to kill. Even Black Ops 2, we all thought that had a much slower time to kill, but it's actually a bit faster than we actually thought. The reason why it feels so much slower in Black Ops 1 and 2, and it actually plays like the time to kill does actually like work as a slower time to kill, is because of the hit detection. The hit detection in Treyarch's old games were known to not being that good, but what it ended up doing was it makes it so a lot of shots don't exactly track on exactly, therefore it feels like it's a lot slower than it actually is, so people aren't killing as quickly. Obviously the Infinity Ward games, you would laser beam people because the hit detection was really clean. So if you really like a slower time to kill, that bad hit detection actually was kind of a positive in some ways, because if Black Ops 1 had like completely clean hit detection like Modern Warfare 2, it would probably be one of the fastest time to kills ever based on this list here. So that's actually interesting to look at. So when I talk about those Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 games, it's a little bit different. We have to look at them just because of the fact that it is actually slower than what the actual statistics say, just because of how the hit detection works within the game. That's at least what I believe. That's my interpretation of it. Some of the other fastest time to kills in COD history include Modern Warfare 2019, one of the more recent titles. And that's the main part of this discussion I want to focus on, is Modern Warfare 2019, because that is the Call of Duty where I feel like the really fast time to kill hurts it almost the most out of any of these games. I do think the fast time to kills in Ghosts and Modern Warfare 3 also hurt those games substantially, but again, it's all up to preference. but I'm kind of explain as to why I feel like the slower time to kill makes these games so much more enjoyable. And I know this isn't a coincidence because A, I can look at some logistical reasoning, which we'll look at in a minute, but also just my own personal enjoyment of these Call of Duty games. I tend to enjoy the ones that have slower time to kills. I'm looking at BO3, Infinite Warfare, Cold War, Black Ops 4, and of course Black Ops 1 and 2, which again have faster time to kills, but they just feel a lot slower because of hit detection. All those CODs I just listed there are some of my favorite CODs ever. I love all the Black Ops games. I love Infinite Warfare. It's the only Infinity Ward game that I could confidently say I absolutely love. And I think a big part of that might be because the time to kill was a lot slower than other Call of Duty games. So I have two main points as to why slower time to kill is better than faster time to kill. And I have actual reasoning to go in depth, objective reasoning to go in depth within these two reasons. So let's talk about the first reason. The first reason is that a slower time to kill takes more skill to win gunfights than a faster time to kill. This is something I've seen debated consistently throughout a lot of people because people insist that a faster time to kill actually takes more skill, and I just don't think it makes any sense, any of their reasonings at all. Now, let's look into this. Does fast time to kill take any skill? Yes, of course. Everything's going to take a little bit of skill. But what I'm saying is slower time to kill takes more skill than what a faster time to kill would. So what kind of skill is involved when the time to kill is fast? Now, of course, we're looking at this in very general terms. It does not have to be this or that. There's many different types of time to kills. It can be very slow, it can be very fast, it can be a little bit slow, it can be a little bit fast, it can be in the middle. There's a lot of different places where it can be. I'm just trying to speak generally here on, slower time to kills, meaning like some of the slowest ones ever, like BO4 and Cold War, compared to some of the faster ones like Modern Warfare, as well as Ghosts. That's what we're kind of looking at here. Again, it can be very different. There can be varying levels of time to kill throughout COD history, as we saw on the charts there. Just keep that in mind. This is generally speaking, so let's get back into it. With the fast time to kill, the most really skill you are going to need is reaction time and map knowledge, right? Other factors that could contribute to whether or not you're gonna win a gunfight could include stuff like luck, where you're just in the right place at the right time, your spawns, where you spawn on the map, this is assuming it's a respawn mode, and also the weapon you use. Now, the weapon you use could definitely be contributed to being skillful at least a little bit based on the weapon knowledge that you have, but you can just get those knowledge from YouTube videos. I don't know if that's really a skill necessarily, but when it comes to slower time to kill, all those factors I just stated apply to slower time to kill as well, but there's more factors that even go on top of that, including accuracy, precision, movement, and the gun's specific role in a game with a slower time to kill is going to be a much more important factor. Guns don't feel that different in games like Modern Warfare when they all have such a fast time to kill. Honestly, I can barely tell the difference with half the guns in that damn game, especially when you're up close. They all feel like they kill just the same. Now, if you look into specifics, yes, you will find differences if you really go into the detail, but for the most part, I don't notice those big differences. In a game like Cold War and Black Ops 4, the guns all have such a distinct personality to themselves because they have such different uses. And of course, people can contribute this to being a bad thing because now weapon balance is a little bit tricky because obviously in a game with a fast time to kill, weapon balance doesn't really matter that much. I mean, the only time you're gonna have a really overpowered gun is if it really is like, shredding even quicker than the other guns in the game, which does happen often. We see that happening a lot. But in a game like Cold War, you're more expected to see weapon balancing issues because yes, the time to kill is definitely a lot slower, so it's harder to balance them appropriately. But that's nothing to do with time to kill. The developers should be able to find a way to balance weapons accordingly. We shouldn't accommodate and completely change the time to kill just to make weapons balanced. Instead, the weapons themselves should just be balanced properly, and they have been able to do that in the past. There are CODs with slower time to kills that have good weapon balance. Black Ops 4, people disagree with me on this. I don't have a problem with that weapon balance at all. There's a couple of guns that are definitely way more powerful than other ones in the game, but all of the guns, at least 90% of them, have a really distinct use to them and they work in most scenarios. And that's kind of what I want from a game, is to have differentiations within the weapons, so you're not using the same weapons all the time. You're changing up, you're giving it variety. If all the weapons are the same in equality when it comes to weapon damage and everything like that, they don't feel different enough. I know Modern Warfare's weapons are different, but because the time to kill is so fast, you don't feel those differences as much as you would in, of course, a game with slower time to kill. I feel it in Warzone. I definitely feel it in Warzone because Warzone has a slower time to kill because of all the armor and such, but I don't feel it in multiplayer. So let's now look at some specific examples and kind of talk about what would be different in these gunfights compared to a fast time to kill and a slow time to kill. So here's the first scenario here. It's simply just two different players butting heads from around a corner. So let's say they both see each other at the same exact time when coming around both these corners. So obviously connection might play a role in this as well, but we're not really gonna focus on that too much because that gets kind of tricky. Let's just say they come around the corner, they meet each other. In a fast time to kill game, who is going to win this gunfight? So majority of the time, it's going to be the player who either has a faster reaction time or possibly a player who knew that guy was coming. So let's say he has a UAV up, or he just has good map knowledge, or maybe he hears the footsteps coming. There's a lot of factors that might contribute to whether or not you will win this gunfight. But accuracy, precision, movement, none of that really matters to any substantial degree. You're basically just going to kill the person based on, who has a faster reaction time in that exact moment, which takes some skill for sure. I don't know if it's the most skill in the world, but it's definitely some skill. But essentially, whoever loses that gunfight is gonna get deleted. I wouldn't even say there's much of a gunfight there because of how quick it usually is. The player doesn't really have a chance to react and move out of the way, neither does the other player. They're kind of just firing their weapons. Whoever kills first gets the kill. It's very quick. That's about it. Let's say the same scenario, but a game with slower time to kill like Black Ops 4. Now, what will happen in this scenario is reaction time is still important, hearing their footsteps, all that's still important, but both players now kind of get into an actual gunfight because they're not getting insta-killed right away, unless, of course, one of them's using a shotgun. Let's just assume they're using full auto SMGs or something of the sort. If someone's using a shotgun, someone's probably getting deleted, unless, it really depends. This is, of course, an up-close scenario here. This is not from a distance. This is when they're literally in each other's faces. Even then, your accuracy still matters, especially if you're using an SMG or an AR. Those bullets are still going to fly. The accuracy doesn't really matter when it's a really fast time to kill because the game has aim assist. When you have an aim assist in a game, it's not going to make much of a difference. Games like Rainbow Six Siege don't really have aim assist, so when you have a fast time to kill, it works a lot better because they need to be accurate in the first place. It doesn't matter. They're already going to be very pinpoint accurate right away because of the aim assist. So when you have a slower time to kill, the gunfight's actually going to last a little bit, which means the other player or both players can have an ability to kind of test their strengths a little bit, test their movement. They can drop shot, they can jump shot, they can run to cover, they could stay in the gunfight and just keep trying to fire, they could do a number of things. They can try to aim for the head so they can kill him even quicker and possibly get the faster kill. There's a lot of things that they can do in this gunfight that decide who's going to win or lose, and the gun you're using actually matters. In this up-close scenario, a shotgun in a slower time to kill game is obviously going to be way better than an SMG, but when the time to kill is so fast, an MP7 in Modern Warfare can kill almost just as quick as a shotgun. It really can sometimes because of how fast it can shoot and how fast it can delete someone. So does your weapon you're using really matter that much? I don't know. I don't really think it does. And let's look at another scenario here. So you have blue player and red player. So red player is aiming one way. He's aiming towards the left, and the blue player comes around that corner and he sees red player and he starts firing at red player and possibly gets the kill. So what's going to happen in this gunfight here if it's a fast time to kill? Most of the time, what will happen is blue will get the kill probably 99% of the time. No matter how good or bad blue is at this game, he's probably going to kill red in this instance. There's really no reason he won't, unless he's like bottom of the line terrible. But even if you're not that good, the aim assist is going to pinpoint your gun directly at him. Even if it's at a decent distance here, whatever gun you have, you can probably get the kill. It'll kill him really quickly, not really much of a thing red can do about it. But if we have a slower time to kill here, now red has some options. Red can possibly have a 180, maybe. He can literally do a whole spin move and have time to fire back and possibly kill blue instead, especially if blue is not a good player. Red can actually kill him. Now, if red's not a good player either, possibly blue's going to kill him anyways, but red actually has the ability to fight back. He can run to cover, he could fire back, he could do all sorts of things. He could drop shot, he could jump shot. Again, more things are important in this gunfight now than it would be in a faster time to kill, so therefore more skill is involved. The shittier player is not going to get the kill all the time. The better player probably will. I know people who don't really want COD to be that competitive don't like this. They prefer it being more random. This is just my perspective. I think random is stupid. I want my skill to matter. I want all the hours I put into Call of Duty to have purpose, to have meaning, to make me a better player and therefore enjoy the game more. And it's not going to do that if I'm dying by players who don't even have thumbs. So this last instance here is kind of the opposite of that. Red is now aiming down this specific pathway, and blue comes from around the corner. And because blue is not expecting red to be there because he's sitting in a corner, he gets lasered by red. Now, if the game is a fast time to kill, he's gonna die. Blue is going to die 99% of the time. Again, you don't even need to be that good of a player. If you're aiming down sights, down a corridor, and some guy comes around it, you're going to get the kill. He has to now aim down his sights as well. It's going to take more time for him to do that. Therefore, red's going to get the kill. Does red deserve that kill? Probably not, because he's camping like a little bitch. Why would he deserve the kill? But because the time to kill is so fast, blue really can't do anything about it. Blue could be on a 22 kill streak, about to get a nuke, and he gets killed by some random dude camping in a corner, and he has nothing to do about it. But if the time to kill is slower, he has the ability to showcase his skills to fight back. Now he can jump behind cover, he can go behind the corner he just came through again and run away because he doesn't want to get in that gunfight right now. Maybe he can fall back, then go back afterwards because now he knows red is there and he can fight back. Or he could just shoot back. He could duck, he could jump, he could do all sorts of things to fight back in this scenario. And if red is not that good of a player, he could definitely kill red because red will be missing most of his shots. In a fast time to kill, it doesn't matter how good or bad red is. Again, he's probably going to kill you. Why is it a good thing to die by a player who's not good, especially if you're on a good kill streak and you know you're a good player? You did not deserve to die in that gunfight. Slower time to kill, you don't get those undeserving deaths as often. Now, of course, there's other factors in games like Black Ops 4 that are undeserving deaths. Specialists, those are undeserving deaths. I agree. We're not talking about specialists, though. We're not talking about other bullshit that might be in the game. We're talking about time to kill specifically. If they can balance specialists and they can balance weapons and balance equipment all around the time to kill perfectly, it could work so much better than fast time to kill will ever work in any scenario ever. And if you guys want to see some specific examples of this actually being put in action, here is a game I was playing on Modern Warfare recently where I was not really on a big streak. I don't remember exactly what streak I was on, but I came around a corner and some guy was literally aiming down sights at this corner and he just started lighting me up when I came through. There was absolutely nothing I could have done about that in any better way. I could have just maybe not gone that way, but how am I supposed to know exactly where players are going to be? Some players say, oh, this requires you to have more awareness, you have to know and check your corners and such, whatever. No one wants to play like that, and this will get into my next point, but that slows down the pacing of the game when you're specifically checking every single corner as you go around a map. Nobody wants to do that. That punishes rushing type of players. That's not fun, especially if you can get laser beamed without anything you can do about it from a player hiding in a corner. But now let's look at Black Ops 4. Here is some gameplay of Black Ops 4 where I was getting in so many gunfights consistently in like a 30-second margin. It was really fun. I was going in and out of corridors. People were shooting at me, but I was able to evade those gunshots and able to actually get out of the scenarios because they didn't kill me in like 2 or 3 bullets. It takes more bullets to kill me. So of course I was able to successfully get out of there. I didn't deserve to die in most of those gunfights that I got into, so I didn't because I got out of there. And I fell back and went back to try to kill those people again, and I did successfully kill a decent amount of them. There was actual gunfights there, and I ended up getting killed because I was really low with my health. I haven't healed in a bit, which that was my fault. Yes, I probably should have gotten to cover, and maybe if I knew that player was going to come around that corner, and I wouldn't be stuck with only having like 60 something health when he came around, I could have possibly have also killed him. So I got bested. That's fair. I wasn't blaming the game. I wasn't saying, oh, the time to kill is stupid. No, because I didn't die because of the time to kill. I died because my own problem, my own skill wasn't good in the specific scenario, as it wasn't perfect as it could have been. I could have improved. I could have done better. I want to improve. Modern Warfare, what am I going to improve on? Just play a little bit slower? camp a little bit more, maybe aim my gun down every single corridor when I go around, maybe throw a Semtex into every single room I go into to make sure there's no one camping in there? Is that what I want to do? No, because that slows down the pacing of the gameplay. And that goes into my next point here, the second bad thing about a faster time to kill, and essentially that's the simple fact that a faster time to kill will slow down the pacing of the game, and a slow time to kill will actually quicken the pace of the game, which seems like it's weird because it's kind of the opposite, but you'll understand why when we explain it right here. Of course, there's other factors that go into the pacing of a game, including map design, spawns, and other gameplay mechanics, but we're going to be focusing only on the time to kill and how that actually affects the pacing of the game. So, with a fast time to kill, people are afraid to move around, especially on maps that are more open because they're afraid of insta-dying. This happens a lot in Modern Warfare, this happens a lot in Ghosts, which are definitely notorious for having a lot of camping. It's not a surprise that these games have a lot of camping. It makes sense when you look at the time to kill. People are afraid. They don't want to run around the map because they know they are going to be punished for that, because they can get insta-killed from basically across the map. They don't even have to be up close to an enemy. They can get insta-killed from across the map. Now, yes, you could get insta-killed in BO4 as well, because there's, sniper rifles that can one-shot. There's definitely some specialist weapons that can one-shot, of course. But not nearly as often as how often you can get insta-killed in a game like Modern Warfare when you have literally an AR. Even an SMG can insta-kill you across the map, especially if you mount your gun and you have no recoil. You can insta-kill someone across the map in Modern Warfare, especially on a more open map. How is that fair at all? That makes people so afraid to move around. Every time I play Modern Warfare, I feel so exposed because I know anyone can shoot me from any angle and I'm donezo. There's nothing I can do about it. And Black Ops 4, I feel so much safer moving around the map because I know I'm a good player. I know I can definitely win most of my gunfights, so now I can actually move around. Now, if I come across a player who is better than me, I'll probably lose that gunfight because he's better than me. If he can have better accuracy than me, if maybe he gets behind me and I'm not able to successfully maneuver around out of his gunshots and maybe do a 180 to try to kill him, maybe he just gets me before, maybe he gets a good headshot on me, then he beat me, and it's fair game. I'm not going to complain about that because he's a better player. Or even if he's not a better player and he's still a worse player, he could still win the gunfight, but he just did a good job in that gunfight. You can be like, oh, good for him, he did a good job. Even if he's not a better player, he did a good job. He ended up killing me. But you're not going to have that all the time. You're not going to have a worse player killing you all the time because the time to kill doesn't allow that. It just doesn't. Unless you're just not doing good. Obviously, just because you're a good player doesn't mean you're going to do good every game. That's obvious. Also, just when gunfights last a bit longer, it keeps people in the action more often. When you have a really fast time to kill, all that does is kind of hold people back to continuously dying and going into their spawns a lot. Look at maps like Shipment. I mean, obviously, smaller maps is going to be way, way worse. Small maps do not work well with a fast time to kill at all. We see that in Modern Warfare clearly because people just keep instantly dying and respawning, and spawn trapping is so much easier because of this. People like this and they think it's faster because on these small maps they can consistently get a lot of quad feeds. Just because you can get a lot of quad feeds does not make the game faster. That's not how it works. Faster just means the pacing's faster. The players are moving around a little bit more. They're not camping as much. That's what faster means. Yes, it's a lot harder to get quad feeds in a game with a much slower time to kill, but that's what makes it more rewarding when you actually get those quad feeds, because now you're like, wow, I actually worked for that. I actually did something good. Getting quad feeds in Modern Warfare means jack shit. It doesn't, because it's so easy. You don't need any skill to do that. You just come around a corridor, you see 4 people there, just tap your gun a couple times, you're gonna kill all 4 of them. There's no skill involved there. But with something like Black Ops 4, you see 4 people, you know damn well you need some pinpoint accuracy on each and every one of those players to get that quad feed. And that's rewarding to me. That feels good after doing that. And because you're consistently in a lot of longer gunfights, you're in the action longer. Of course, if you're in a fast time to kill game and you're the one dominating the lobby, it'll feel fast for you for sure, but you're not going to be dominating the lobby every game. That's just how it is, unless you're like, the best player in the world. But even then, skill-based matchmaking will catch up to you eventually, so you'll start to get pissed off because people will be insta-killing you often. That's just how it works. There's a reason pro players really don't like Modern Warfare, and they actually really do enjoy some of the other CODs like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 that have a slower time to kill. They actually do like them a lot. You don't hear this from the YouTubers, but you hear this from a lot of the pro players. It's usually the more casual YouTubers like Merc Music who definitely prefer Modern Warfare. Merc Music's not really a pro player. He's not a competitive player. He just likes hopping on for fun. He likes getting quad feeds. So obviously he's gonna like a game with a faster time to kill more. I completely understand why Merc Music would like that game more, and that's completely fine. but that doesn't change the fact that it clearly does not take as much skill and a faster time to kill to game to do better, and it clearly will slow down the pacing of the game as a whole, unless you're the one doing insane amounts of things on really small maps. And you can tell people in Modern Warfare only want to play small maps. They don't want to touch a map that's anything bigger than Shoot House. So yeah, it definitely goes to show something's going on. All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Let me know your opinions on this in the comment section below. Which type of time to kill do you prefer? Again, for me, it doesn't have to be as slow as Black Ops 4 or Cold War. I just don't want it to be as fast as Modern Warfare. That's really all I'm asking for. Definitely not as fast as Ghosts or Modern Warfare 3, because that's way too fast. I think a solid time to kill range is honestly where Cold War's at. I think Cold War, World War II even was actually somewhat in the middle. Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, those games to me had like the best time to kills. I'm okay with Black Ops 4's time to kill as well. I don't think they should ever go any slower than Black Ops 4, because then it goes into a different territory where now it's less of a Call of Duty game and more of like a hero shooter, and gunfights will be almost too long. I do think there is such thing as too slow of a time to kill. I do think that can happen. I don't feel that way in Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4's time to kill does not feel too slow for me. I think that's the furthest it should ever go for Call of Duty. But I like it, especially because Call of Duty doesn't have a lot of recoil, high recoil guns and such, so it just kind of works, you know what I mean? If COD had a lot of high recoil guns and there was no aim assist, and it was meant to be like a more tactical type of a game where it was much slower paced, like Rainbow Six Siege, then it could work. It could definitely work a fast time to kill. But this game is not meant to be that. It's meant to be an arcade shooter that's fast paced, and that's what we all enjoyed for. So I don't know. If you want it to be more militaristic and whatever, fine, but my opinion, I don't think those games will ever be fun, and I'm hoping that they learn this from the future, at least for my own sake. I hope these games get a little bit faster, and they will need to keep the time to kill slower in order for that to happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.